Good morning, everyone. We are here today to talk about why psychology is the best perspective to describe the human person. But first, let's dive into what psychology is. By definition, psychology is the scientific study of the human mind and their behavior. In this field, we focus more on how the mind works and its functions, especially how it affects an individual's behavior. Why do we need this? Studying psychology helps others become better in other aspects such as decision-making and stress management to fully understand themselves. It is a way for others to find the best method to take care of their mental health.
What are some reasons to study psychology? Well, psychology answers what is going on in our minds. It lets us have a deep understanding of ourselves as well as understanding other people. It also gives way for personal development and building a relationship with others.
You may be asking, what is the self and how does this have anything to do with psychology? To put it simply, the self is how we evaluate and perceive ourselves as a single entity. This is important because we are studying the self and an individual's behavioral patterns through a psychological perspective.
How does psychology answer the question, why do we act the way we do? There are different perspectives in psychology that can answer that. These 5 perspectives are the root of a person's action and behavior. This may influence a person's choice or behavior through conditioning with reinforcements and punishments, or from childhood experiences, or from their internal thoughts and feelings. It is all connected as to why we think, feel, and act like this.
People are defined and honed by their experiences. It pirouettes around the interpretation and understanding of a certain occurrence. Psychology works for human development, and it focuses on giving new advancements for the acquisition of knowledge towards understanding one's mind and demeanor.
In an essay of Sigmund Freud's Remembering, Repeating, and Working Through, it talks about repetition of our past experiences. We tend to remember them unconsciously, and by that, we can work through it to know ourselves better in terms of our cognitive, affective, and behavioral aspect.
Psychology gives us a breakdown where we could fully understand the quintessence of self-awareness. It then reaches our perception of viewing others with a great appreciation to influence individual functioning.
Speaking of self-awareness, did you know that neuroscientists believe that part of our brain such as insular cortex, anterior cingulate cortex, and the medial prefrontal cortex are responsible for consciousness and self-awareness of a person?
A problem to be encountered when it comes to this perspective is that it rejects the idea of a true self, which is relevant to the essence of what a person is and the concept of conscience. Scientists are dubious when it comes to this idea because it brings up the debate, if the inner self is different from the way the person acts all the time, why is the inner one the true self? An example of this argument is the inquiry of whether a person doing harmful acts is still a good person because of the justification that the person has a good true self. Psychology makes it impossible to validate beliefs that do not have evidence, considering that it bases things on what can be scientifically proven.
So why is psychology the best way to understand the self? With psychology, we can understand ourselves better, our motives, and our patterns of behavior by learning about our psychological variables, such as personality dimensions. Psychological evaluations enable us to gain a deeper understanding of our genuine selves.
It is one of the best ways to understand the nature of self because it allows people to have a deeper knowledge on how the body and mind work together.
Psychology, indeed, is the best perspective in dealing with ourselves and the human person. Thank you for listening and have a nice day.